Hello everyone, and welcome back to Cutie Pie Collective. Today I'm going to be showing you a small project to help use up some of your scrap yarn. I had this bit of red left over after my heart overlay crochet project, and I figured it was the perfect opportunity to show you guys how to make these adorable little shrimp. These little emotional support shrimp buddies are not too hard to make and are done in the round for most of the project, so you don't have to sew on any extra pieces except for the legs and two of the antenna and eyes if you want to add them, though I personally think the eyes are optional. But anyway, today we're going to make little shrimp friends. Now to start, we're going to take our yarn and make a slip knot. After that, we're going to chain 7. After that, you skip one chain from your hook and slip stitch 6 down the chain. Alright, that's 5. Now we just need one more slip stitch here. Right, next up, we're going to once again chain 7, turn and slip stitch back to the center of our project. The original pattern I based this off of specifically had us working through the front of the chain through the 2 loops, so I did that here as well, but you could probably also make this project going through the back bump. After we make it back to the center, we're going to go back in through that same stitch we did our last slip stitch in and do a single crochet increase. So 2 single crochets in one spot. It was 1. Here's 2. Then we're going to go into the next available stitch. And do the same thing, a single crochet increase. So 2 single crochets in the same space. That's 1. And that's 2. Next up, we are going to build the nose or the front of our shrimp off of these 4 single crochets. You're going to take your work and roll it so it becomes a tube, because we do work this project in the round because I do not like sewing pieces together, so this is the main difference of the pattern I based this off of. It was made with 2 pieces. I make it as one complete piece. Again, you're going to go into that 4th single crochet and slip stitch to join it into a round. Now for round 1, we're going into one of those 4 stitches, and we're the first one from our hook, and we're going to do a single crochet increase. So 2 single crochets in one space. That was 1. Here's 2. Next we do 2 single crochets. And it can be kind of tricky to get your hook into some of these stitches since it is such a small round, but with a little bit of fiddling you can get it done. There's 1 single crochet, and here's the second. Now we do 1 more increase. 1 and 2. At the end of the round 1, you should have 6 stitches in your round. For round 2, we're just going to do a single crochet in each stitch. For 6 total single crochets. That was 1. Here's 2. 3. 4. 5, and 1 more. 6. And that completes round 2. You can see the start of our little shrimp head coming along. For round 3, we're going to do another increase. So here's 1 stitch and the second in that same space. After that, we're going to do 4 single crochets. So here's 1. Here's 2. Three. And 4 single crochets. Then we just need to do 1 more increase. So increase 1, increase 2, and that's the end of round 3. We'll want to have 8 stitches at the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Next up, for round 4 through 6, we're just going to single crochet in each stitch all the way around. When I'm doing work like this and not using stitch markers because I live on the edge, I like to count these up as 4, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 4, 6, and then 5, 1, 5, 2, 5, 3, and so on for each row. That way I can keep track of what row I'm on and what stitch I'm on. But you could also just use a stitch marker if that floats your boat. But however you do it, we're just going to do single crochets all the way around our project for rows 4 through 6. After you complete row 6, you're going to want to stuff the head of your shrimp, because after this we're going to start doing decreases and it's going to be harder to come back and stuff your little friend. And from now on, we're also going to be working in the back loop only. For row 7, we're going to start with a slip stitch. Then we're going to do a single crochet, followed by 4 half double crochets, another single crochet, and another slip stitch. For these slip stitches, do not be like me and make sure to do them a little bit loose, because we are going to be working in the back loops only. They can get very tight very quickly and become tricky to use if you don't give yourself a little extra slack. Also, in case you haven't done a half double crochet before, you just wrap your hook with yarn, enter that stitch, pull up, and go through all 3. Again, we're going to do 4 of these half doubles. That's 3. And that's 4. Make sure your stuffing doesn't totally escape like mine's trying to. Then we're just going to do one more single crochet and one more slip stitch. Working in this way is going to start the curve of our shrimp's body. Now for row 8, we're going to once again start with a slip stitch. This time we're also going to decrease by skipping a stitch. Again, make sure your stuffing isn't completely escaping. We're going to skip one stitch and then work a single crochet. After that, we'll do 2 half doubles. Followed by 1 more single crochet. Then we'll skip a stitch and do a slip stitch. Again, all of these rounds going forward are done in the back loop only until we reach doing the tail. Tightening that stitch was a mistake. Don't do that. Alright, now from rows 9 through 13, we're going to follow this pattern. We're going to slip stitch, single crochet, do 2 half double crochets, single crochet and slip stitch. Again, varying between slip stitching and half double crochets will make our shrimp bend and give it that signature curl. So here's our single crochet. Our first half double. Our second half double. One more single. And one more slip stitch that fought me viciously. It did not want to exist, but I forced it to exist. Again, make sure you don't work these slip stitches as tight as I did, otherwise you will also suffer and struggle as I suffered and struggled. Alright, now just repeat that for rows 9 through 13. I didn't like how part of it was going at one point of my project, so I did rip part of it out and start again. It can look a little wonky as you're going because the tail likes to twist off to one side, just because it's sort of in the nature of crochet to shift a bit when you're working in the round. But a little bit of fiddling after it's completed brings that tail right back into where it's supposed to be. So don't worry too much if it looks like your shrimp is not shrimping correctly. It just needs a little bit of work after it's done. After that, row 14 is very simple. We're just going to do single crochets in each stitch around for a total of 6 single crochets. So that was 1, here's 2, three, 4, 5, and one more, 6. Now give it a little bit of extra attention for molding and editing. I liked to rub mine between my hands a little bit just to get it nice and circular. Then squish and flex it a little bit till it gets into that perfect shrimpy pose. Next, we'll go ahead and add the tail. For the tail, we're just going to go into 2 stitches that are across from each other. It can be a little bit tricky to get your hook through those 2 stitches, but you don't have to be too precise at this point. You're just going to go in through 2 stitches that are somewhat across from each other. And then you'll work all of the stitches for one half of the tail in those stitches that you went through in the beginning. So to do that, we go ahead and pull our yarn through. Then we're going to chain 2. And then we're going to do a 2 half triple crochets, and to complete those you'll wrap your yarn twice, go back through those stitches and pull your yarn up, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over and go through all 3, and you'll make 2 of those for each side of the tail. Through 2, through 3. Now we're going to go ahead and chain 2 and slip stitch back into that one space. Next, we're going to go through another 2 stitches that are right across from each other. You can see there are 2 stitches on there. Yarn over and pull through. Then we'll go ahead and chain 2, yarn over twice back through that stitch, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3, and repeat that process. Again, finish it off by chaining 2 and slip stitching back into that space. And that is our shrimp body and fin completed. You can give it a little bit more molding and sculpting just to get to lay how you want. I think they already look pretty dang cute at this point, but we're going to make them even cuter with some additional antenna and legs. Don't forget to go ahead and finish off your project properly. I like to go back into that loop that we had and chain and pull through all of our extra yarn, tighten it down, and now your project won't go unraveling on you. Now we just have to complete the extra antenna and legs. For the legs and antenna, we're going to attach the antenna right here in the front, right under our 2 thicker nose pieces. And then the legs are going to be attached on this sloped belly portion of our shrimp. Before we do that, I recommend going ahead and tucking your ends. I like to tuck this one from the start right between those nose bits. And the one at the end, just cut off your extra yarn and go right in next to where that knot is at the side of the tail. And then you can go ahead and just tuck that yarn back into the body as extra stuffing. Now we're going to start on the extra antenna, which are these little guys here. For these, I don't really have a specific measurement, so for this project I just used one of the ones I'd made previously and laid it out next to about how long those were, and then added an extra inch or 2. You can make these longer or shorter depending on your preference. You're just going to want to make sure the yarn is over twice as long as you want the finished antennas to be. Again, we're going to attach the antenna right here underneath the nose. So you can just find a little spot, a little stitch there, and feed our yarn through. Pull the ends of your yarn together so that they're even. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add extra twist to our yarn. So whatever direction your yarn is twisted in, you're just going to add more twist to the yarn to make it tighter. And you can add pretty much as much twist as you can stand to sit and spin into this yarn, because that's what's going to help us make those really cute twisted antennae. You can see how it sort of tries to bunch back up on itself. That's how you know you have enough. I like to add extra just in case any of it comes untwisted while doing this next step here, which is tying a little knot at the end of our over twisted yarn. You can make it pretty close to the end of that yarn. You want to make it as far to the end as you can. And you can see how that yarn twists back over on itself. It makes a new 2-ply. But because we need 2 antennae instead of 1, we're going to go ahead and split that. And open it back up. And we're going to hide this knot inside of our work. You can see we just pull it right close and then use the back of our needle to poke it in between those stitches and hide it inside. Then we're going to pull this yarn out to the sides so we have an even amount on each side, and then let it retwist itself. You can gently pull on it and give it a few little twists, and that's how we get these really cute twisted antennae. This was the best way I could find that would give us finished yarn that was thin as the decorations, because a chain is just really thick on these little guys, and a plain piece of yarn with like a knot at the end just wasn't speaking to me. So this is how I do both the antenna and the legs. You can see these little nubby legs here. Next, we'll add those. For this, I just decided to use this last bit of leftover yarn by tri-folding it so I'd have even pieces. These will shorten up quite a bit, so you could probably make them longer than this, but it was what I had left over, and it ended up making about the same length legs as my previous project, so this must be what I did last time as well. Again, you can make any of these pieces longer or shorter, though I probably wouldn't recommend making the legs much shorter than this, because as you will see, they can be kind of tricky when they become this small. Again, we'll put our yarn through our tapestry needle here. And then I started with the middle set of legs. So I just found somewhere along the body that was about halfway down, or sort of at the widest bit here. So right about at the middle. Then found a stitch that was close to center. Pull that yarn through, and then we're going to repeat the same process we used for the antenna. add plenty of extra twist to both sides. Then we'll tie a little knot at the very end. These knots can be a little tricky because they want to like fold over on themselves because of the extra twist. But just get a nice little knot at the very end of that yarn. Because the more yarn you have left over that's not in that knot is going to add length to your legs. Again, we'll pull this around and tuck that knot inside of our shrimp's body. This one fought me quite a bit, but eventually you'll get that knot tucked in. And then pull those legs out to the side so they're nice and even, and encourage that twist. And that gives you our cute little shrimp legs. Now just repeat that process for the other 2 sets of legs. Once you have those finished, your shrimp is completed. Well, except for this one little tail, which I'm gonna go ahead and stuff that in. You could cut it if you want to, but I usually just find that, loose ends of crochet plushies are just free stuffing for the plushie, so just shove that yarn back inside the project and all is well. And now we are finished. You could add eyes if you want to. I found that small black seed beads can make pretty cute eyes for this project, but I also personally think that they look pretty dang cute without eyeballs, and that makes it so you have one less thing to try to sew onto the body, which anytime I can avoid sewing something for my crochet project, I will do so. But here you are, cute little shrimp friend. These projects are great for using up some of the leftover yarn you have around in your craft room or your stash. And as a bonus, they end up being super cute and totally giftable. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, let's make something.